Hello, friends. I think we're live. I'm gonna give us just a second where Facebook kind of changed the way you do live videos, so this is a little different. So I'm gonna wait a second. I've got the comments ready to go. So once I see some thumbs up and we've got some people with us, we'll get started. Let's see here. Got two people. It says watching. We've got okay. I see the little eye saying that they're watching. So if anybody is with us and can give us a thumbs up to let us know that you can hear us and you can see us. Make sure I've got my volume turned up good. Okay. Thank you. All right, we've got some folks letting us know that they can hear us and see us. All right. So we're so excited. Happy New Year's. We are still in Kansas City, actually, with my parents. Normally, we are in Guatemala by now, celebrating the New Year at Casa Neve, but this year was a little different. And it's hard. We really wanted you guys to see it, but the lighting is not good enough. But it is really coming down out there. It is snowing. We're really excited. My kids are very excited. They were already out there playing in the snow. So we just wanted to welcome you guys, say Happy New Year, a new start 2021. We know lots of people are so glad to say goodbye to 2020. We understand that sentiment, but 2020 was a great year for us in the sense that we saw God move. We saw his hand and favor over Casa Neve, and we are so grateful because of this amazing community. You guys, your support, your prayers, your financial contributions to our ministry. Casa Neve had a wonderful year. Our kids had a great year. As you guys know, we finished the soccer field just a few weeks before the pandemic started, so there was lots of soccer playing. We had wonderful Friday afternoon prayer times together every single Friday. We had a great time fasting together as a community on Sundays, praying and asking for God's protection and favor and wisdom and guidance. And we were not without anything in 2020. And that's because of you guys. That's because you guys were with us, constantly communicating with us, writing us, getting in touch with us. How can we help? How can we pray? I know towards the beginning of the year, we had several groups asking for names of our staff so that they could be praying individually by name for our staff members. We had several people contact me and say, what is the greatest area of need in Casa Neve and how can I help? And so we're so grateful for each and every one of you. For us, 2020, yes, there was a lot of hard things that happened. For us personally, even in our family and my family, but also as a ministry, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, but God never promised us easy. And so we can say that we saw his faithful hand over and on us every single day of 2020. And we expect the same thing going into 2021. And so this morning, in just a few minutes, my beloved husband has a message that he's wanting to share with you guys to start this year. I hope that you guys can stick around with us. We purposely put it a little bit later in the morning, hopeful that those of you that did stay up until midnight were ready to are already up and ready for the day so that you guys can join us. Even if you're in your PJs with your coffee, it doesn't really matter. We're just excited to be able to be with you guys as we start 2021. So I'll leave it to you.
Hi, everybody. As my lady said, this is a perfect moment. On my right, my lady. On my left, coffee. On my back, snow. On my front, you guys. And above me, God is with us. So Amen. This is the greatest way to start the year with the family here at Kansas City, snowing. Today, it's the new beginning. It's a new year. Starts a new year. For those that just woke up and got up out of bed, like it's already 2021. So, but we're excited. We're excited for this next year. But before we start the next year, we finished last night remembering all the good things that God did to us during 2020.
Mm-hmm.
We stopped last night, and as a family, and also at Casa Bernabe, with all the kids at midnight, we had a wonderful time remembering every single benefit that we received from God in 2020. That's what David did, King David did, when he was in that tough position. He remembered all the benefits that God gave him in the past. And that's what we did last night. And this morning, uh, we're starting with something different as well. 2021. I don't know if you guys, but in our case, down in Guatemala at the orphanage, throughout the whole year, the children, our staff, were asking us the same question over and over and over. When is this gonna be over? Edgar, when is this gonna be over? We're done with this. We're tired. We're desperate. When is it gonna be over? I don't know if you guys asked that question to yourselves or somebody else asks you the same question. And I would always answer to them with another question. Why do you want this to be over? Why do you want to go back to normal? And it was very interesting, their answers. I don't know what would the answers be to you. I would ask you the same question. Why do you want to go back to normal? What is it out there that it makes you want to go back to normal, that you miss so much? Let me share with you guys while you guys think about the answer. You don't have to answer to us, but if you want to, you can answer in a note. Why do you want to go back to normal? This is some of the answers that we will receive from the children. We want to go back to normal because we miss our families. We haven't seen them. Our kids haven't seen their families for the past 9 months. That's why they want to go back to normal, because they want to see their families. Our staff was locked down for 9 months as well. They wanted to go back and see their families as well. So I don't know, why do you want to go back to normal? But
Debbie said she wants to be able to come back to Guatemala.
all right, Debbie wants to go back to Guatemala. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking of many occasions in the Bible where people were confined in a period of time. And there are many times where that happened. Let me give you some examples. Noah was confined in a boat. Is that right? In a big boat with a bunch of animals, stinky, with his family, all packed down in one place for many days, more than 40 days and 40 nights. Way more than that. Confined. They couldn't go anywhere else but that place. Joseph in the pit. Joseph in jail. Paul in jail. Paul in that big boat with a bunch of people. Jonah in the big fish. And we can keep going and going and going. We'll find a bunch of experiences of people of confined in a place.
Mm-hmm.
But the biggest confined that we can find in the Bible, it is Israel. Israel with Moses. 40 years confined in the desert. Not in their homes like us, drinking coffee, watching TV with their beautiful family for 9 months. No. 40 years in the desert, suffering the heat, the cold. They were hungry, thirsty, tired. They started murmuring. They started gossiping. They started complaining. They started building gods, worshiping other gods. They started remembering. They were remembering everything that they were missing from Egypt. They were wishing to go back to normal. They were desiring all those things that they left behind in Egypt, their food, the comfort, their jobs, their slavery even, they were they were remembering all those good things that they wanted so bad when they were in the desert, forgetting what they were trying to achieve, their goal, that it was to get into the promised land. None of them made it anyways. Not even Moses made it. But going back to the question, why do you want to go back to normal? The Israelites, why did they want to go back to normal? Moses had to deal with all those people, hundreds and thousands of people behind him, more than 1 million people in the desert for 40 years, complaining. And Moses' most desire, it was also to get into the promised land. Mm-hmm. That was his biggest desire during that time. Through the desert, 40 years. I always tell our staff every beginning of the year, I don't wish you happiness throughout the year. Happy New Year's, that does not exist. God tells us that we're going to go through deserts. God tells us that we're going to go through fire. God tells us that we're going to go through storms, through tribulations, through hard situations. But He also promises us that He will be with us during those tribulations. He does not promise us happiness throughout the whole year. He promises us that He will go with us when we go through fire, when we go through the desert, when we go through storms, when we go through rivers. He will be with us, like He did with Moses throughout the 40 years in the desert. So that's what we should expect next year. Desert, fire. We should expect storms like we did last year. That's what I tell my people in Guatemala every single year. This is what we should expect, and this is what we should get ready for. Because God will be with us. And if He's with us, who is going to be against us? Right. Who can be against us? If He's with us. And if He's with us, I am willing to go there, to the desert, to the river, to the fire. I don't know about you, but that's what I'm excited about. Mm-hmm. That God will be with us this year, 2021, like He did with Moses. Mm-hmm. Now, let me go back to the story of Moses, and you can read it. I encourage you to read Deuteronomy.
Deuteronomy.
That word, that book that she just said, the last chapter, 34, I believe, the last one. Read it whenever you have time. We're not going to read it now. Study that chapter. You'll find a lot of details on what happened the last day of Moses' life. The last day. Moses did not want to ever go back to normal, to Egypt, like the rest of the people. He always had his view to the greatest goal that he had, the greatest desire he had in his heart, that it was to get into the promised land. He always was focused on that. He always believed God's promise. But he never made it. God did not allow Moses to get into the promised land. We could think God was so mean, unfair. Is that right? Unfair?
Unfair, unjust.
Unjust. Why did He not let Moses get into the promised land? Only because he disobeyed in that small little thing with the rock? That's not enough for him not to, after he went through the whole period of time of 40 years with these people, why not? But God had something better for Moses. Better than his own desire. Now, Moses' biggest wish in this world was to get into the promised land. I don't know what's your biggest dream after this 2021? I don't know. What's your biggest dream, your biggest desire in 2021 in this earth? But God has something better for us. And Moses' desire to get into the promised land never came. It says in the Bible that the last day of his life, till then, when he was 120 years old, God gave Moses a perfect view, perfect vision. So he can see his dream. He can see from far away from that mountain. He can see the whole, his dream, his vision, his biggest desire. And Moses got to see it. Moses got to see it all. Everything that he wanted. He saw it. God allowed him to see it. He also gave him strength as a young man at 120 years old. Strong, vigor. It says vigor as a young man. Strong. No wrinkles in his face. No wrinkle, not one wrinkle. The ladies might ask, now, what cream did he use? Who knows? God made it happen. No wrinkles. His face was like a young man, like a baby when he got to his last day. With vigor, with perfect vision. Not only that, till that last moment of Moses' life, God descended from heaven and came down to earth and face to face with Moses, next to Moses. It's kind of like asking Moses, what do you want? Do you want what you can see now with your own eyes? Or do you want what's in front of you? Pick, choose. What do you want? Do you want to get into the promised land? Or do you want what you can see right now? Myself, God. God himself descended with Moses. And Moses and God took Moses with him. God took Moses with him right away. But wait a second. His love to Moses was that big that not only he descended, but he descended with the pickaxe. He made the cave, the hole, and himself buried Moses in a place where no one knows where he did it. Only Moses and God knows. Their own little secret. Why? Because God loved Moses so much. He has something special to him. And it was himself. He came down to bury Moses. And he took his spirit with him right away. Moses got the best. And the best was not what his eyes could see out there, the promised land. He thought that was the best. That was his biggest dream in this world. But God had something better for Moses, and it was himself. Let's go back to the question that I asked you at the beginning. Why do you want to go back to normal? I tell my people in Guatemala, if I go back to normal, is that going to take me farther away from God? Most of the answers to that question, it is, I want to go back to normal because I want to go back to the stadiums. I want to go back to study. I want to go back and visit my family. I want to go back and have fun with my friends. I want to go back to restaurants, concerts, to bowling, to the bars maybe, I know you guys don't do that. I hope not. To all those places. Are those places taking you farther away from God or closer to Him? This year, God, this pandemic time, this confinement has brought us closer to God as a family and as a ministry. Has brought us closer to God. I don't want to go back to normal if that's going to take me away from Him. I don't want to go back to normal if that's going to separate me and my family and our ministry away from Him. Our children, our staff in Guatemala are closer to God because we made the time. It was a perfect moment perfect time to come closer to God as a family, as a ministry, and bring other members to our family. Bring other people that don't know Jesus yet. Bring them to get to know him as well. That's what we did this past year, 2020. And we're hoping to do the same in 2021. Get closer to God and bring other people that don't know Jesus yet to go closer to God.
That's right.
Instead of turning their backs away from God, like his people in the desert did, worshiping other gods, desiring to go back to normal, wishing to go back to Egypt, forgetting the promise. We don't want to forget the promise. I want for me and my family and our ministry something bigger than what our eyes can see. We want him. We want more of him.
That's right.
And we're willing to go through deserts. We are willing to go through fire. We are willing to go through storms, like Isaiah 43 says. And I encourage you to read it whenever you have time. Read Isaiah 43. That's how we start every year. Remembering what should be expecting. And Isaiah 43 will tell you what us as Christians should be expecting for this year and every year. But also God tells us that he will be with us. When we go through fire, we're not going to get burned. When we go through storms, we're not going to drown. When we go through desert, he will provide a living water river in the middle of the desert, like he did. He does it to us as well, and he will do it again. And we're ready and excited for this next year.
Amen.
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 God bless you, my friends, my family in Jesus Christ. God bless you all.
Yeah. It's we want to acknowledge and say that we know that many of you that are watching right now, many of you that love Custom Neve, that love us, our family, many of you have gone through really, really hard things this year. Some of you even lost loved ones. Some of you are battling really hard health situations, money situations, financial things, losing jobs, losing your house. I mean, we know that there were hard things that happened this year, and we want you to know that all the times we knew of those things, we, Edgar and I, our family and all of us at Custom Neve, we were praying for you. We were lifting you up. When we knew of those things, we were bringing those petitions before the Lord. So we know that it was not an easy year, but our hope is in the Lord, like Edgar said. And the thing is many times when a new year starts, we think that something magical happens between the 31st to the 1st. And today is the same as yesterday in the sense that my God is still on the throne. He still loves us. He is still with us. And I can still hope in him. I can still look for him. I can still trust him. In Deuteronomy, where Edgar was sharing from, it says in verse 10, "And there has not arisen a prophet since in Israel like Moses, whom the Lord knew face to face." And so we want to encourage you as you go into 2021. We don't know what's going to happen in 2021 any more than we knew a year ago what was getting ready to happen in 2020. But I do pray and hope for y'all who love us and are with us at Custom Neve. And this is what we hope for our family personally and for all of us at Custom Neve, is that we can know the Lord with that kind of intimacy, where the thing we've hoped for and wanted for the most pales in comparison to more of him. And so that's what we want to ask for you guys to be searching for and looking for. Let's not put our hope in the fact that we get to bring out new calendars and there's a new date that says 2021. Let's not put our hope in that. Let's not put our hope in the fact that the date changed and it's a new year. Let's put our hope in the Lord. Let's put our hope in the one who's sustained us, who's provided for us, and who's been there for us every step of the way. I have had the privilege of hearing Edgar share this message with a couple others that are close with us. He shares a message similar to this every year with our whole entire staff and kids on the 31st as we head into, those of you who have been with us in for New Year's, you know it's celebrated big down there. So I've had a privilege, but it brings tears to my eyes every single time just thinking about the intimacy that Moses had with the Lord, and how in our humanness it's so easy to say, just like Edgar said, for Moses to have been like, this is really unfair, God. I did all these things and list all the sacrifices he made and all that he had to suffer. But of course he wasn't saying that, because he got the best, and that was more of God. And so that is what we want to encourage y'all that with. This is what we want to go into the new year with, not to be scared, not to be afraid. We believe that there is a lot of good and joyful and wonderful things that are going to come from this year, just like came out of last year, and they'll be hard too. Even if it's not a pandemic, there'll be something else, but we continue to trust in the Lord. We continue to hope in him. And so we're excited. We head back to Customer May next week. We have our annual staff retreat getting ready for the year. It'll look a little different than the past because we don't have our wonderful teams that are usually down there with us to help us. But our staff is excited. We're excited. Things will look a little different. We are hopeful, as I can see through the comments that some of you have said, we are hopeful that someday soon you guys are going to be able to come back down to Customer May in Guatemala. We miss you guys down there. The kids miss you. But until then, we're going to continue to keep our eyes fixed completely on him, continue to trust him, continue to trust that he is going to provide and guide and lead us this year just as he did this past year. And so we're excited. We'll be in touch. We'll continue to pop on here every now and again. Those of you who have already heard, or if you haven't, I'll let you know, we have some virtual trips that are going to start happening this year. Another way for you guys to be connecting with us and kind of feeling like you're down in Guatemala with us. But we know it's not the same, but we're going to do our best to stay in touch with you guys as we can. I hope that you guys have a great start to this new year, to 2021, that you're having opportunities with your families to lean into him, to start this year on your knees, praying, thanking him for his goodness. I want to just close with last night, our family of 5, we spent a little bit before the clock hit midnight, the 5 of us just really spending some time. Each of us had to say 5 things that we were thankful for in 2020. And all of us had way more than 5 things. We kept saying, as the other one had a turn, well, I want to add one more. I want to add one more. And so it was a really beautiful end to 2020. But we want to encourage y'all as you start 2021. Take the time. Thank him. Thank him for what he did in 2020. Thank him for what he did today. I got to tell you, I woke up really thankful that one of my favorite things in the whole world was outside, and that's snow. So I'm grateful that before I get to head back to Guatemala, I get to enjoy and play in the snow. So that's something I'm really thankful for. So we're thankful for all of you. We love you guys. We're grateful that you guys trust us and continue to support us as we lead in Casa Nueve. We're so grateful and overwhelmed with the privilege God has given us to be a part of the amazing work he's doing in Guatemala and at Casa Nueve. So we love you guys. God bless you, and we will see you soon. Bye-bye.
30 minutes.